Welcome to Accelerating Your AI Journey, where we sit down with tech leaders and executives to learn how AI is empowering teams. My name's Tiffany Jansen. I am a software developer, tech consultant, and host of Talk Tech with Tiff. For this episode, we are going behind the scenes of the 2026 World Cup. And I'm not talking just about, the sidelines or VIP areas. We are going back further than that. Specifically, the tech infrastructure, talking about things like high performance and sustainability. And it's all thanks to Lenovo. Now today I am here with Peter Murphy, who is Lenovo's Executive Director of Financial Services and Technology. Peter, how are you today?
Hey, I'm great. Good to see you.
It's nice to see you. So Peter, I'm curious, can you tell me a little bit about a time where there was an issue, say, or a challenge that you helped solve for FIFA employees?
Sure. I mean, our partnership with FIFA now is probably just coming up to about a year since we announced. And, FIFA, obviously a household name if you're in sports. But, they're effectively an events company. And by the time we signed our partnership, we were literally just a few months away from a major tournament, which is the Club World Cup in 25, but hosted in the US. So we had a very short window, effectively, to really prepare for a major tournament for them. And obviously everything from security, the ground up, we had to get everything ready across multiple stadiums. There was a lot to do in a very short time frame. So I suppose that tournament went well. It's really set us up for the World Cup next year, and we were excited to play a part in that experience.
It would be an exciting challenge, if you will, to have such a short time span to get set up. Was there certain things that really helped enable yourself and the team to do it in such a short time span?
Really, it comes down to the people. We've got such a great team. There was a lot of late nights, a lot of manual intervention just to make sure that we were ready. But we had, over 150 engineers at a number of different stadiums across the US to make sure that everything went well. FIFA is obviously an events company, really, when you think about it. And, on behalf of the 211 member associations that make up FIFA, like I say, it's the eyes of the world are upon it. And, there's really no room to fail. So, AI PCs are really helping, FIFA get the most productivity out of their team. We're using Intel Core Ultra processors, really enabling them to do things that perhaps they've not been able to do before. So, obviously, it's got a heavy footprint in terms of making sure that they have a secure platform. But obviously, having an NPU and extra processing power to enable them to do, whether it's real-time translation or maybe it's from their creative teams, it could be for developers or you name it. There's a whole host of personas that have unique needs in terms of extra performance.
Exactly. Well, as you mentioned, the eyes of the world are on it because regardless of how much of a fan you are, everyone tunes into it. It's something that brings people together, and to be, working on the tech that powers that is really incredible. What specific operations or, special considerations need to be in place when you're thinking about and designing workplace solutions for, multiple locations and countries?
Yeah, it is. It's really tricky. It's simple when you say it quick, but in reality, there's a lot that goes into it. Everything has to be physically and digitally secure. Data is critical. FIFA collects over 2 million data points for every game. So the data that is at stake, not only the security around ticketing and hospitality and broadcasting, it is a complex environment. It's set up on a temporary basis, right? Each tournament will last just for a finite period. So making sure that everything is ready to go on time, on budget, and in a secure fashion is really, what we're there to do for them. So, thankfully it's going well so far.
Does that look different? I'm assuming it would, or a little bit different anyways, depending on what city it's in or, the different countries it's hosted in?
Yeah, the complexity is about, let's take the World Cup. It's in the US, but it's also in Canada, also in Mexico. So it's about how do we get the right technology into the country at the right time. But obviously, that's what we're here to do. That's what we do best. And I think we can navigate through that. But we'll be ready to go.
Absolutely. As the head of financial services and technology, what is your biggest priority when it comes to powering the World Cup?
I suppose, Lenovo's using this partnership as a way to really elevate the brand of Lenovo globally. We're well known for our PCs and Motorola phones, and our data center infrastructure. Possibly less well known in terms of AI solutions and a whole host of other different outcomes that we can help organizations achieve. So from that point of view, it's really about how do we bring all of the innovation and thought leadership that we have at Lenovo to enable FIFA to really sort of elevate their brand and make this the most successful tournament ever. We just think it's a great platform to really demonstrate the kind of outcomes and capabilities that we have, really to help enhance the sport and what everyone will see on TV at home when they watch the event.
Absolutely. And, as you mentioned earlier, too, it is really, at its core, an events company. World Cup is, the biggest one, I would say, but there are so many other ones that are huge, that are massive.
Yeah. And I suppose that kind of leads on to sort of the sustainability angle, which is, obviously these things depend on a ton of different technologies, all of which are used for a relatively finite period. So how do we, in a responsible manner, make sure that that is not both a waste of investment, but also from an environmental perspective, how do we make sure that those technologies have a second life beyond the tournament? So, really what we've been able to do is really find sustainable ways to develop technology, whether that's through the manufacturing process, through the logistics process of getting it where it needs to be. But then at the end of the tournament, how do we make sure that that is repurposed either at a future tournament or, like I say, through either the FIFA Foundation, where they donate a lot of technology to local charities, or through the member associations, where we will repurpose and recover those devices, recertify them, put a new warranty around them, and then they can lead another useful life with individual member associations that might be in need of some technology.
I'd love to dive into that more, especially around how Lenovo is helping FIFA reach those sustainability goals that they have set.
Yeah. Well, listen, FIFA is, like I say, because of what they do, they are driven by responsibility.
Yes.
It exists in their charter. So really, from our perspective, we talk about some of the technologies that we devise, and let's be honest. We're making devices that consume energy, and a lot of the CO2 impact of those devices is created at the point of manufacture. So let's take AI PC is very topical at the moment. FIFA are consuming our X9 Aura Edition AI PCs. So we've built that in partnership with Intel, Intel being probably the most efficient, sustainable semiconductor organization in the world. So we've jointly built this product to be, as environmentally sustainable as possible. So 50% of the aluminium in the device is recycled. 100% of the cobalt from a battery perspective is recycled. And then, if we talk about low power soldering, really, which is, Lenovo has sort of pioneered the industry in that, in terms of minimizing the energy used during the manufacturing of these devices. And then if we think about, sustainable packaging, which comes from the likes of bamboo or from sugarcane fibers and so on. So not only is it recyclable, but it's also compostable. So again, just a number of different things to make sure that we minimize that environmental impact. And then FIFA, like I say, are very focused on making sure that all technology is repurposed at the end of each tournament, so that, like I say, it can lead a very long and meaningful life.
I really appreciate that Lenovo is thinking about sustainability, not just from the device repurposing standpoint, which is critical, it's very important, but also from stage one, manufacturing.
Yeah, from cradle to grave, or through the asset life cycle, for sure. We even offer things like CO2 offset services. So for any organization that wanted to sort of offset the environmental impact, they can do that at the point of purchase, for example. So yeah, there's a number of things. We make sure that we have a service that, one, can maximize the residual value of those devices to make it a good commercial outcome, but also to make sure that we repurpose them. So in some industries, financial services is a good example, where for data security purposes, they will often remove the hard drive from any device and crush it, physically destroy it. So we have solutions where we can erase data securely in a compliant way with a certificate to avoid that physical destruction. And therefore we can then go and repurpose those devices, and then they can have a second life in maybe disadvantaged communities or in other parts of the world who would be fantastically grateful to have, this technology that frankly is still very fit for purpose.
Absolutely. How do you ensure that as you scale, when we're thinking about FIFA, all the employees have the right devices?
Yeah.
And also the tools to support their different functions?
Yeah, it's tricky. And listen, we lean on FIFA because they have defined personas of various different identified functions and the kind of tools that they need to be productive. So we're very much aligned with that, having the right device at the right time, at the right place for the right persona. What I would say is that some things that are now enabling maybe either enhanced productivity or really to be able to do things that perhaps were not possible in the past. So, for example, they're consuming our X9 Aura editions. So great battery life, the look and feel of this thing is very premium. We're very super proud of it. But because of the AI PC, the capabilities that it enables us to do, like I say, FIFA is a global company. They're dealing with people from all around the world. So they do real-time translation services. Yeah. So the AI PCs really enable us to do that. In the past, it's not necessarily new. We've had this technology for a while. But now we're developing something for FIFA to use at their events, both for broadcasting and for how they deal with all of their member associations. So we're taking those real-time translation services, which is enabled, via an AI PC, for example. So again, FIFA is a media company. So how do we create great content in a very efficient way? So there's a whole host of different use cases that are really benefiting from this new architecture.
That real-time aspect is so key, whether it be translating, whether it be different data points individuals are gathering for content creation or for stats, different things like that. The real-time aspect is so key. And being able to do that, with AI running locally has been, I think, a game changer, especially as you mentioned now that it's so efficient and so compatible for so many different areas, I think is huge. And I love the example of the translations, especially when you think about all the different languages being translated in real time.
Yeah. No, it is. It's amazing. And like I say, in the FIFA world, because there's such a well-known brand, security is at the heart of what they need to do. Yes. They're running a whole host of different, whether it's antivirus, advanced threat protection, encryption, you name it, they're running it. So often that has an overhead in terms of performance. So now what we're able to do is really provide, that reliable performance to enable them to do all sorts of things without sacrifice. So, that's sort of, improving the customer experience journey, making sure that productivity is high. But it's I think we're embryonic in terms of what AI can do at a device level. But like I say, if these devices will live for 3 to 5 years, what will we be doing in 3 to 5 years? We're only at the tip of the spear. So I think it's future-proofing what they can do, and then we'll see what applications come along that will really take this to a level that maybe we can't even comprehend at this point. So it's an exciting space to be.
It really is. Did you have specific things that you hope to really implement this year in particular?
Like I say, with the FIFA partnership, we're looking at ways to really sort of show the world on a global stage all of the different types of things that we can do. So clearly from a personal computing space, and the personal is very much alive and well in the PC space. It's people are connected to these devices. So we want to make sure that all FIFA employees and those supporting their tournaments, have a great experience. It's about how do we bring next generation AI, or whether it's AI or whether it's just technology in general, to fans. So how do we engage with fans through the FIFA app? How do we engage with viewers at home through various different broadcasting technologies? We're working with FIFA's football technology team in terms of generating next generation VAR, or video assistant referee, for anyone that's not a huge soccer or football fan. But a whole host of different things that will really sort of show and elevate, what we're capable of as a company. So we're really excited about, what we're doing.
How do you see AI impacting employees' day-to-day work?
It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But in terms of how it would affect the workplace, I think it's all about the workplace experience, which is how do we avoid repetitive, laborious tasks? How do we get technology to automate many of those functions? It's about how do we really enable people to be as productive as possible, get the most out of their talent. But the function of AI, I think, will be different for every person. And we're just at the start of this journey.
Regardless of what role the employee is in, it's something that they can all use. Everyone can use, really. It's a game changer.
Yeah, 100%. And, I deal with many large organizations, and, there is a talent war for out there, regardless of industry. So, being able to attract talent through embracing new technology, but also to retain talent, it's now a critical topic for many organizations.
That's such a good point, because it is something where when talent is looking for companies, it's really now more than ever a two-way street, where the talent is wondering, what tech are you using? What is it the latest? Is it going to empower them to not only do their role well, but to continue to grow?
We mentioned part of my role is to lead the financial services vertical, and I was talking to a CEO of a bank not that long ago, and they were telling me that whilst they are a bank, they're actually a technology company that also happens to be a bank.
I love that.
Because as they evolve in their industry, they need to outpace their competition. So I think that pace of technology adoption and what it will do is only going to accelerate. So
it is.
Yeah.
How do you and your team consider sustainability? We've spoken a little bit about sustainability, but to even dive into it further, especially around when you're planning a short-term global event.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of FIFA's events, it's not just about the World Cup every 4 years. They host, more than 20 different tournaments. Yeah. The challenge for them is that they're all over the world. They're not in the same place. They're in different countries and have different requirements. So how do we help them make sure that they can reuse all of the technology as much as possible? And like I say, whether it's FIFA member associations reusing those devices, or whether they're gifted or donated through the FIFA Foundation, we ensure that they will have a good and long life, making sure that we get every ounce of benefit from that investment in technology.
You mentioned security throughout this conversation. As a business leader, how do you help clients adapt and feel confident in the security systems they have in place, specifically FIFA?
Really, it's about how do we make sure that, again, whether it's from a compliance perspective or from just from a threat protection perspective, that they are ready to go. We have a cyber resiliency service that we offer. We have a whole portfolio of security offerings and platforms. We just want to make sure that we have set them up in the right way to ensure that they are secure both during the event, but pre and post tournament as well.
I didn't think about that. I was so focused on during the event, but there's that what's going on pre-event, and then of course post too.
Well, listen, I mean, FIFA in their own sense are a relatively modest-sized organization.
Yeah.
They're probably 800 to 1,000 people, but in the run-up to a major tournament, they'll scale to more than 10,000. So, onboarding and offboarding and making sure that they keep track of technology, that it's compliant, that it's in the right place at the right time. So yeah, it's a very dynamic environment to work in.
Yes.
And like I say, they'll do the same next year, but they'll be in a different continent, And so, yeah, it's very fluid. Yeah.
How do you encourage customers like FIFA to consider their carbon footprint and climate action as well?
Yeah, I mean, FIFA needed no encouragement, frankly. It's top of mind for them. And with other organizations, potentially the very large ones have dedicated sustainability offices and, are really driving a common approach. Sometimes technology can be disconnected from those things. So it's really sort of awareness of making sure that clients know about what we do from our own perspective of manufacturing through, the logistics of getting technology from point A to point B, how to be efficient in terms of power utilization settings. It's some very basic things, but it can really save a significant percentage in terms of the total energy consumed by any device during its lifetime. It's really about guiding them through that process and connecting the dots. And then for those maybe smaller or medium organizations that don't necessarily have the scale to have dedication in those spaces, it's really about awareness and educating them on why we're different than perhaps some of our competition.
I like that, awareness, because sometimes it is one of those things where technology is, for some companies, a little bit removed from that sustainability piece. When you can educate your customers about your different offerings around sustainability, I'm sure every single one of them is blown away. And it's like, this is incredible, like so many things that people may have not even thought about, especially in those mid to smaller size organizations.
Yeah, and Lenovo is somewhat unique in the industry because we own and operate our own factories as well. So we have great control. In fact, we're ranked, I think, number 8 in terms of global supply chain capabilities. So, from that perspective, that really does give us some benefit. And I think generically, I think everybody wants to do the right thing from a sustainability perspective. But sometimes it's about making sure that we tell customers all of the different things that we do to make sure that they're making a well-informed decision. So, yeah, it's an interesting and exciting space.
Peter, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today. Especially around the sustainability, I found that fascinating because it's an area that I'm personally really interested in, and just to hear about how Lenovo is working behind the scenes from, as we were speaking about earlier, from the manufacturing process to the packaging to where it is today. Talking about Lenovo AI PCs and how that's really helping enable so many different employees and roles, from data processing to translations in real time, different things like that. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning into this episode. We will see you in the next one.
Lenovo.